welcome this evening. As always, I am delighted and excited to be here with you folks. If you didn't catch it when the announcer said live with Halley Elise, I'm Halley Elise. Always love that. They say my name so many times that if I forgot my name, I definitely would remember. I hope everyone is doing great this evening. It's been kind of interesting. We have Mercury in retrograde. We are coming off the tail end of the energies of the full moon, which always makes things very intense. I had something interesting that I'll share. I have this cute little car, little sports car, and I drive it carefully, not like an old lady by any means. But when I park, I usually park with distance so that nobody can get me, right? No joke. My car has been hit 4 times while it's parked. Can you imagine? I'm looking at this going, I'm one of these people who pays attention to sigils, to symbols, to things that happen, that there is messages. And I'm going, well, perhaps it's the moon. Perhaps it's Mercury retrograde. Or perhaps it's just time to say bye to my little car. You ever go through any of that where you seem to have that same thing over and over and over again? You're like, no, 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 I don't see that. Nope, nope, I have the blinders on. I don't see anything. We all do that. And the reason I ask is because when it comes to intuition, oftentimes you have great intuition, but you're not paying attention. It's kind of like my little car, bang, 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 bang. How many times can you take care of it until you say, maybe something needs to change? Think about this as opening a door for your intuition. If you find that you're often saying, I kind of knew that, or a week after something, you go, I have a vague feeling about that. Isn't that interesting? Pay attention. It means that your doorway to, if you will, the esoteric or the metaphysical, or just simply God and the divine and the universe are available to you. If you're receiving messages, if you're receiving little nudges, pay attention. Because I have to tell you, when you don't pay attention, all of a sudden it feels like something explosive happens where you absolutely positively cannot miss it when you have to pay attention. You don't want to wait until that moment because it's there to serve you, it's there to help you. Really and truly, it comes down to we all are born with a level of knowing. Now, we can call it inner knowing or inner guidance or higher self. We can call it higher consciousness. I mean, there's so many different ways that we can address it, but it comes down to listening. You don't have to always go within, but it is wise to at least once every day take a moment and just get still. Like, let go of your telephone, put it in the other room somewhere, and just take a deep breath and just feel being in the moment. Doing something that simple can really make you aware of your inner connection, that higher connection that is there to serve you. I believe we have Cameron on the line from Sydney. Hi, Cameron. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Great. Did I say your name correctly?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, just checking. I'm a stickler about that because my name usually gets messed up 20 different ways. So I want to make sure I do the right thing. Did you have a specific question that you wanted to address, or would you like me to just kind of give you whatever comes in?
Yeah, whatever comes in would be great, please.
Okay. So the first thing that pops in is that you're a very sensitive being. I was just talking about listening to intuition. You've got really strong intuition, but I feel as if it shows up more often during your sleep time than anything. So you might wake up with a vague recollection or have a dream, like a sensation or a feeling, but I feel as if it's always with you, but it always seems to be just on the periphery, just beyond that absolute knowing. So some of what I was saying before, hopefully you heard, and hopefully you'll take a moment each day just to get quiet, even if it's for 30 seconds, because I feel like it'll activate that knowing so that it can come to the surface. That said, anybody who is sensitive like that tends to also be a sensitive being, which means feelings get hurt easy, even though you put on a brave front. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I do.
Because I just get that you are highly sensitive, very bright. But your emotions, though, sometimes get in your way, meaning you obviously have intelligence as far as intellect, but you also have an emotional intelligence. And I feel like when you're upset, oh boy, it's best for people to leave you alone in that moment because during
Yeah,
that, you may not say the most pleasant of things if you're pushed. And it's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, because you're not one of these people who goes, "Ah," all the time. That's not it. It's that if you have been pushed to that nth degree, you feel it so deeply that you have to respond. I'd like to make a little suggestion as far as
yeah.
that. When you start to feel yourself going over that edge, over that line, in your head, say to yourself, "I can control this moment." And it doesn't mean that you have to control
Okay.
what's happening 100%, but it does mean that it gives you kind of like a breather to recognize that you're sensing something so deeply that you're going on auto response instead of using your intelligence, that IQ, you're using your emotional IQ. So hopefully this is making sense to you where you can actually grasp a hold of it. I feel like it could be of great benefit, especially when it comes to relationships.
Oh, well, yeah, seriously, like this makes so much sense to my life right now.
Okay. So again, just remember that sentence for yourself. I can control this. When you're saying this, it doesn't mean everything going on, but it means how you are responding in the moment so that it gives you that little bit of a pause where you can get more clear about what you really want to do or what you really want to say.
Okay.
Okay. That said, I really feel like your life in this lifetime in this world is about two huge things. One is recognizing that you don't have to be a doormat to be loved. And I'm not trying to be offensive, so please don't take it that way. I just feel as if a lot of times you'll just say, okay, 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 and allow until it's too much. So that's part of one of your lessons, if you will, in this lifetime. And the other, really and truly, is for you to believe what other people see. And what I mean by that is if somebody asks about you, like, oh, what do you think of Cameron? They'll profess all of your accolades. They will say what an amazing individual you are, and you don't recognize it. You have skills that you
So,
have not,
yep.
right? Other people see, I mean, and I know this happens a lot of times, like somebody else say, oh, you don't see yourself, but you really don't. There's this part of you that says, oh, but I can do this and I can do that. And yet, if somebody compliments you or they make a suggestion that, well, why don't you branch out a little bit? Why don't you step out a little bit more? You're like, no, 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 I'm good. You're not recognizing the fact that you actually have more skills than you're using. And I'm not just talking about interpersonally as far as relationships, but also out there in the world. I feel like you've kind of put yourself in a box, even though that's not really who you are. We are in what,
Yeah.
2020, yes, 2025, 2026. So this year is the beginning of a push for you to allow yourself your own good because you've had enough strife the
Sure.
last 3.5, 4 years to last you for a lifetime. You don't need to repeat this pattern.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And really, it's not a matter of will it come, it's a matter of are you going to insist that it comes, which means you have to be open to it. And that means you have to really, I'm going to say check yourself because that's not so much what it is. It's more a matter of you recognizing that the previous way you were doing things didn't get you what you need, didn't get you what you truly want, what your heart desires.
Yeah.
From from this moment forward and over the next 2 years here, the universe, God, they're going to conspire to assist you in bringing forth exactly what you want. I mean, think about it like this. Wouldn't it be nice to wake up where you're just smiling for no reason whatsoever?
Yeah, it would,
Wouldn't,
yeah.
right? Wouldn't it be nice to have the partner that you fully trust? And when I say that, I don't mean trust that they're not going to be running out on you, but trust with your heart. Like you can really say what you want to say and how you want to say it without worrying that they're going to take it the wrong way and you holding back. Because I keep getting a sense of discomfort at the lower part of the esophagus, at the opening of the stomach, going all the way down into the upper intestine, wraps around to upper middle part of that. All of that has to do with swallowing, taking it in, holding it down. It's time for you to shine
Sure.
in life.
Yeah.
I hope this is making some sense to you.
Yeah, it really is. Sorry, I'm not saying much. It's just a bit unreal how much this is making sense to me. Just before I got the call, I was just sitting in a bit of reflection, thinking about most of those things you've just mentioned. So I'm
Okay.
hoping I'm starting on that path to healing now. So that means so much to hear all of that.
So, one other thing here, you don't so much have to heal as you just simply have to be who you're really supposed to be. Let go of
Okay.
all of the stuff that we learned growing up. I don't mean to be funny, but we hear what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do based on our loved ones when they were growing up. They're not living inside of you. They're not living at this stage and age of your life in the same way that you are. I'm not saying be disrespectful. I am simply
Of
saying
course.
to stand in the light and allow yourself to really be who you are. The fact that you were in reflection a few moments ago simply means that the universe at large wanted you to have confirmation of these things. All right, my friend?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So glad you could be on with us this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm feel so privileged to have gotten that reading from you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, I'm sorry, I have another person. Slash Danielle, is it? From
Yes,
Wichita? Did I read that correctly?
that's correct.
Okay. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. You say you're good, but I get some trepidation there. Is there any sort of discomfort about having a reading?
No.
Okay, just making sure. 'Cause I hear like a little bit of hesitancy in the voice, but that's
Well, I'm
okay.
medium ship.
I'm sorry, say that one more time about mediumship.
A mediumship. I was kind of interested in the mediumship.
I see. Yeah, I'm one of the people on the network that is not a medium. I do get, I'll say, snippets of messages from the other side. But if you're wanting me to say, oh, there is Sam, and he's got gray hair on one side of his head and brown on the other, and he was a record breaker, and I see him in full, garb, um, that's not me. But if you ask a specific question, I can usually tap in to that realm and give you feedback if that would help you.
I'll just go ahead and take a reading.
Okay. Was there a specific question in respect to the reading? Otherwise, just go with the flow of things.
Like love reading.
Okay. You're a tough cookie. Not a bad thing. It's just a matter of you have a lot here in your mind about the structure of how your romance is supposed to be, about how relationships are supposed to be. And I think you're entitled to think the way that you want. However, I get the sense that there needs to be a little bit more flexibility here because I feel like you're sometimes cutting yourself off from what you could really enjoy. You know what it reminds me of? And it's going to sound funny, but I'm going to give an analogy. Like if you went out to dinner with somebody and they ate the meal with their elbows on the table instead of in their lap, and you were thinking, oh my God, their manners are terrible. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to talk to them again. When in actuality, they never eat like that, but they're just nervous and you wouldn't know
Right.
it, didn't give them another chance. So you follow me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yes, I do.
simply okay. I'm simply saying that the boundaries that you have are good because it's important to not settle. I know some people say, "Oh, you're at a certain age, you should just settle. This person's nice." No, no, no. I don't believe that. I believe we're supposed to have our hearts smile and our heads be happy and our bodies delighted. So if you're not having that, then yes, absolutely, stick to boundaries. However, again, there's a little tweaking that needs to be done here. I feel like it would
Okay.
benefit you if you're up to it to literally just sit down with a pen and paper and write down the traits, the essence of what you want in your romantic relationship versus color of hair, color of eyes, financial backing. And here's the funny thing. I love the idea of being with somebody who's bright and makes me smile and has money that we can just, at the drop of a hat, run off and do things because that kind of brings me joy. You should, again, have
Right.
the things that bring you joy. But
Okay.
again, so, all right, the best way to articulate this is when you're thinking of the relationship, when you're thinking of romance, think in terms of like when you wake up in the morning, what's the interaction? What are the words that you hear that inspire sweetness and good feelings? When you're thinking in terms of going away, what does that look like? What does it feel like? See, so I'm suggesting kind of take it out of our physical realm and actually put it into the ethers because everything that happens in our world actually starts in the unseen. And I know that sounds like a little woo woo, but science even proves it. They say to us that for us to see something in a certain way, we have to first look at it versus the other way around, meaning it doesn't exist first. We actually have to have a knowing about it or a desire for it to appear. And if
Right.
you waffle because you have others that say, oh, well, you should only do this, or you should accept that, or you're too picky, or you are not too picky. Just so that we're really clear, you're not too picky. It's just a matter of adjusting how your perception is a little bit. Do you think
Okay.
you could do that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Because my heart tells me if you could begin to do that, we're in what? We're in August, September, October, November. I would be surprised if you don't have truly what your heart wants by January. So
Okay.
it's pretty all around the corner, but it's just, again, tweaking a little bit, opening the door a little bit more. Let your perception guide you versus it letting it be the hard rule. I'm
Okay.
reminded of being in school as far as, like rules are made to be broken and we'd all get in trouble doing something that we shouldn't.
Yes.
They're a guideline. They're not absolutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So I know I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, but I just feel as if, especially the last 6 to 8 months here, as if there's been turmoil here for you.
Oh, yes.
And you're just on the verge of moving out of it. And if you truly, again, want your heart to get what it wants, think about what we're talking about. It's just a little tweaking. It's not changing your whole world. It's not, losing a gazillion pounds and changing your hair and it's none of that.
Right.
It is the essence
Okay.
that you with. Okay.
Okay. That makes
One,
sense.
one, okay. One of the things that comes in really strong in respect to someone who's passed, I get a very strong male energy that seems to be around you a lot. And to me, this is
Okay.
I'll say a nurturing type of energy. It's like someone who would put their arms around you and let you know that all is well. I don't know
Would
if you know.
you know if it was a certain name if I said it, or
Yeah, if you have a name, I could like tap in. Absolutely.
um, maybe Justin, Chris, or Josh?
I'm leaning towards Chris.
Okay.
I just get it's like a warm hug, and somebody wants to just be near you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, honey. Just know that they are around. And also, like I said, I don't always get, a whole lot, but I do get those tidbits. And know that you can talk to them even though they're not physically here. They hear you. And then just look for signs with answers. So, for instance, if you ask a specific question, if you get a sensation, identify what that sensation is. That can be a message. If you think you hear something, even if you're thinking you made it up, you're not making it up. It's actually a message. Or if you open a magazine or a book and all of a sudden there's a sentence that answers your question, again, you are being answered. And oof, I'm getting major confirmation here from this individual. Like they want you to know you can talk to them and you can receive responses. It's just not in the way that it used to be when they were here.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Do you have a specific question you want to address?
Um, just should I stay with my current boyfriend or not?
We're in August, September, October. I will say that clarity will come by October. My sense of this is hang in there a little bit longer. You'll be much more clear in October as to what you'd like to do. And
Okay.
then again, give a little thought to what we talked about because I feel like you'll see things change in your world in a really very lovely way.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for calling in. I hope you have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you.
My pleasure. What I was saying earlier is about things in the unseen before they're seen. I always find it fascinating when people say, oh, that's a bunch of hooey. It's that heebie jeebie stuff. But the truth is, when Edison created, invented, he took it from nothing. When someone all of a sudden has a phenomenal meal that they've made, and you ask them, how did they do it? And they go, oh, I just put a pinch of this, pinch of that. I went by taste. They took it out of nothing and created it. We do this with all of life. We just often are not aware of the fact that's what we are doing. We think too often that things are contrived. We think too often that everything has to be a very stiff, rigid structure. It's not the case. We are energetic beings and we have that electric magnetism for a reason. You ever read a story or see a movie and it talks about like two people near each other and you can feel or see the electricity between them? Or you hear about someone that just had an incident. Maybe there was something wrong that happened. They had a fight with someone, and you walk in and you can kind of feel the anger dripping off of them or the discord. These are all things that we're not seeing, and yet we know them to be true. I love the best example, and I always say this about air. Now, other than like if we cast a light on the air and we see little filaments periodically, we don't think in terms of, oh, I have to see the air to breathe it, right? We know that it exists. Everything in our life comes from nothing until it's something. It has to be perceived. It has to be created. It has to be developed in the unseen until it comes into the present. If there is anything going on in your world that you feel like you just don't have control over, or that you want to make a change, give yourself an opportunity to make a change first within your mind. Now, many people say, oh, you're talking about the secret, you're talking about manifestation. I am to a little bit of a degree. However, long before the film and the book The Secret came about, there have been writings from philosophers and from magicians. And I don't mean the ones that pull magic out of the hat, but those that worked in ceremony and in ancient cultures. And there have been shaman, and there have been earth practitioners and holy men between, priests and rabbis. There are so many people that have shared tradition orally, as well as those that have shared written. And if you dig far enough back, you will find that so much that I'm talking about this evening has already been said many, many times. Give yourself an opportunity to get quiet and ask yourself, what do I need to know? Or ask yourself, what am I going to create? You can even use a great line, which is, now I remember how to do, and fill in the blank, even if you don't know how to do it, because you're tapping into all of consciousness when you do those types of things. You're taking it again from the unseen and bringing it into the seen. If you'd like to reach me, feel free to go to the website, HalleyElise.com. Call me at the office at 561-755-2166, or check me out on social media. You may find that it's kind of scattered because I'm not on there as often as I should be.